नमस्कार दोस्तों। कहानी हम सब की में आप सबका प्यार भरा स्वागत है। कैसे हैं आप लोग? उम्मीद करता हूं अच्छे होंगे, अच्छे ही रहना। दोस्तों, हमारे द रियल लाइफ हीरोज की सीरीज को आगे बढ़ाते हुए आज हम आपको एक बहुत ही खास मेहमान से मिलाने जा रहे हैं। ये जो हमारे आज के मेहमान हैं जिनकी मैं बात कर रहा हूं, ये एक ऐसे व्यक्ति है जो कि बिल्कुल अनअज्यूमिंग है, बहुत ही विनम्र है। आज ये एक सेलिब्रिटी जरूर है, लेकिन यदि आप इनसे मिलेंगे तो आपको बिल्कुल ऐसा एहसास नहीं होगा कि आप किसी सेलिब्रिटी से बात कर रहे हैं। ये इतने विनम्र व्यक्ति हैं। इसके साथ साथ ये एक ऐसे व्यक्ति है जो कि बहुत ही चार्मिंग है, बहुत क्विक विटेड है और इसके साथ साथ एक बहुत ही वाइज व्यक्ति, बहुत ही बुद्धिमान व्यक्ति है ये। दोस्तों, हम जब भी इनके साथ बात करने बैठते हैं तो ऐसा लगता है मानो जैसे समय बहुत जल्दी बीत जाता है। और वो इसलिए क्योंकि ये जब बात करते हैं ना, तो इनकी बातें इतनी गहरी बातें होती हैं, इतनी वाइज बातें होती है, जिसे हम कह सकते हैं कि इनकी बातें मानो पर्ल्स ऑफ विजडम है। और वो ये सारी बातें इतनी आसानी से बता देते हैं, लेकिन हर एक बात जो वो कहते हैं वो बहुत गहरी होती है। हम सब इनकी बातों से बहुत कुछ सीख सकते हैं। और इनकी बातें ये इतनी सरलता से कह देते हैं कि बहुत कॉम्प्लेक्स बातें भी हमारे लिए एकदम आसान बन जाती है। दोस्तों, जिन मेहमान की हम आज बात कर रहे हैं, ये एक संस्कृत स्कॉलर है। ये एक मैनेजमेंट कंसल्टेंट है, यानी लीडरशिप और स्ट्रेटेजिक कंसल्टेंट है। इन्होंने 22 किताबें लिखी है और हर एक किताब इनकी बेस्ट सेलर किताब है। और हम ये बहुत कॉन्फिडेंटली कह सकते हैं कि इन्होंने चाणक्य के जीवन में और चाणक्य के अर्थशास्त्र को लेकर एक बहुत जबरदस्त महारत हासिल की हुई है। कभी कभी इनसे बात करते हुए ऐसा लगता है मानो जैसे हम साक्षात आचार्य चाणक्य से ही बात कर रहे हो। और वो इसलिए क्योंकि इनके पास इतना गहरा नॉलेज है। दुनिया इन्हें डॉक्टर राधाकृष्णन पिल्ले के नाम से जानती है, लेकिन हम सब प्यार से इन्हें राधा कहकर पुकारते हैं। तो चलिए मिलते हैं डॉक्टर राधाकृष्णन पिल्ले से, यानी राधा से। लेकिन एक मिनट, देखिए, जिस तरह हमने कहा कि हम इनसे जब बात करते हैं तो हमें वक्त का पता नहीं चलता, ठीक उसी तरह हमारा ये दावा है कि आप भी एक टाइमलेसनेस यहां पर फील करेंगे। तो एक काम कीजिए, जो भी आपके बाकी काम है इसे निपटा लीजिए। आपको जो भी पसंद हो, चाय, कॉफी, एक गर्मा गर्म कॉफी का एक मग उठाकर लाइए अपने लिए और आराम से बैठिए। और हमारी जो बातचीत अब राधा के साथ होने वाली है, इसे एंजॉय कीजिए, क्योंकि राधा हमारे साथ जीवन के अलग अलग पहलुओं को लेकर बहुत सारी बातें शेयर करने वाले हैं। और एक हमारा आपसे दावा है कि जब आप राधा को सुनेंगे तो आपके चेहरे पर भी एक मुस्कान आ जाएगी, क्योंकि राधा का व्यक्तित्व ही कुछ ऐसा है। तो आइए दोस्तों, मिलते हैं राधा से। डॉक्टर राधाकृष्णन पिल्ले, welcome to our channel कहानी हम सब की। Before we move on, I will take your permission. Can we address you as Radha?
You better do that, others will not do the interview. This is part of the journey, I think. See, of course, at the formal level, at the professional level, a Dr. Radhakrishnan Pillai helps. So, friends, Radha is always better.
Absolutely. In fact, मैं सोच रहा था कि ठीक है, मिलने जाना है तो मन में तो राधा ही चलता है। वो डॉक्टर राधाकृष्णन पिल्ले आता नहीं है तो मन में यही सोच रहा था, अच्छा राधा से ये पूछना है, राधा से ये बात करना है, राधा से ये जानना है। So that comes so naturally.
Because if you call me doctor, then I have to look out for patients.
Absolutely.
But I still remember you and Shreya talking about the fingerprints analysis that you did. Really helped me a lot in deciding a lot of my career path.
Wow.
And for those who are listening, watching this, make sure you explore some career guidance tips, including Vedic astrology from Manish and Shreya.
So, Radha, it's a great pleasure. आज we want to really know Radha, Dr. Radhakrishnan Pillai, an author, bestseller author. But as Radha, we want to know you today about your life and बचपन से लेकर अभी तक. I'm sure your childhood would have been like any other child, and then from there this entire journey. So very keen to know, Radha, from your childhood, how did life pan out?
Thank you so much. I like to split my life into two parts.
Right.
Before Chanakya, after Chanakya.
All right.
A lot of people talk
Wonderful.
about the pre-COVID era and the post-COVID era.
True.
I think for both pre-Chanakya days and post-Chanakya days, I'm still the same person.
Oh, that's wonderful. We have not seen many people actually, remaining the same after one kind of gets that kind of fame and becomes a celebrity. But that's really, really appreciable.
I'll tell you the secret how to do that also.
Please.
Let me begin with the question. Absolutely from a normal middle class family, born in 1974. So I'm almost closing 50 years now. But always a Mumbaikar from a parents who migrated from Kerala.
All right.
So I'm a Malayali Mumbaikar, as you can see. Educated to some extent, highly educated.
Of course.
So schooling ho gaya, then did of course my graduation, did my management, did my MA in Sanskrit PhD.
Wonderful.
But I think more than that, what's very important is the learning culture in the family. Wonderful parents encouraged me to keep studying. My father, though an engineer by qualification and profession, was also a writer.
Acha. Okay.
He is still writing. He's written 13 books in Malayalam.
13 books.
1 p.m.
Oh.
And for him, it's a passion, not a profession.
So it's in genes, huh?
Exactly.
Writing.
I got it as a gift.
Wow.
So very later I realized in life that when we talk about hereditary property being passed on, many of us legally look at it as some flat or land being passed on.
Correct.
But the concept of dhana, or I would say wealth, is beyond just what is measurable.
Yeah.
So this is something which I got, and fortunately I'm India's number one business author.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. What a great gift to have.
Absolutely, absolutely. So the whole idea is that normal childhood, went to normal schools.
But was it the same like today? When we look at you, Dr. Radhakrishnan Pillai, scholar, highly educated. In the childhood also, were you like that? कि चलो पढ़ाई करनी है, सीखना है. Was that the same thing? और बाकी लोगों की तरह मस्ती करना ये होता था?
So I think absolutely normal. पढ़ाई नहीं करना is everybody's target. So instead look at पढ़ाई करना है कैसे? I was not a topper at all.
अच्छा.
So of course I never failed. So I would say the beach wale.
All right.
So in fact, I would say I was an average student. But in fact, now in the same schools and colleges where I studied, I go back as a chief guest.
Yeah.
So the so-called teachers used to look at me and say, "Is this the same Radha?" One among the crowd. And I'll tell you the joke about school and college days. Somebody asked a child, "Do you like to go to school?" He said, "Of course I like to go to school. I like to come back from school, but I don't like what happens in school."
In school.
So I think more time with friends is what I think normal childhood is. And I still maintain my relationship with my school friends. And in fact, I do organize our get-togethers.
अरे वाह.
And I feel a little bit disconnected and people say, "Ye Radha," like you were saying. Of course, same Radha. Okay, name, fame, all is fine, all God's grace. So normal childhood and the only aspiration for a typical middle class, I would say family is to, पढ़ाई करो,
Right.
अच्छी तरह जॉब ले लो,
Correct.
and then of course you go and then शादी करो, typical, career graph for
True.
any middle class family, and especially we were all part of so-called developing India.
Yeah.
Next generation will be living in a developed India. So I think money was always a constraint. So your first job was always for the salaries.
True.
And so I worked that path out. But something very strange that was I always God's blessing with me because of two reasons. My parents were highly spiritual. They encouraged me to read what is called the Shastras, right from Ramayana, Mahabharata, Upanishads, all at home. Secondly, I was part of Chinmaya Mission.
Okay. All right.
It's a spiritual organization.
Yes.
So there I got into a lot of Indian culture, wisdom, and I came to know so many things which are not so common among our friends. Maybe that was a foundation for Chanakya.
Oh.
And in my so-called first stage of career without Chanakya, I was an overachiever,
Huh.
not even achiever. I've been naturally a good administrator. I've been in sales, always doing extremely well. Traveled a lot, but till then it's like another achiever here and there.
Right.
So average.
When did this happen? The Chinmay mission.
So I was hardly I think 12 years old.
Oh, अच्छा.
So since then, so Chinmay mission was a turning point in my life, but it was not very I would say drastic. Like slowly subtle undercurrent. But what happened drastically was a Chanakya part of it. Just took you off.
दोस्तों, एज पेरेंट्स हम सब चाहते हैं कि हम हमारे बच्चों के लिए विरासत छोड़ करके जाएं, और उस विरासत में हम चाहते हैं कि हम प्रॉपर्टी छोड़कर जाएं, हम तगड़ा बैंक बैलेंस उनके लिए छोड़कर जाएं, ज्वेलरी छोड़कर जाएं। कोई गलत बात नहीं है, लेकिन सोचने वाली बात यह है कि सही मायने में विरासत, या सही मायने में जिसे हम धन कह सकते हैं, वो क्या है। जैसे राधा के केस में हुआ, राधा के पिताजी एक राइटर थे और उन्होंने राधा को अलग अलग बातों के लिए एक्सपोज कराया, जैसे अमर चित्रकथा हुई, रामायण, महाभारत, चाणक्य के जीवन से उनको अवगत कराया। और ये सारी बातें राधा को अपने जीवन में बहुत काम में आई। हम भी हमारे बच्चों को इन सारी बातों से अवगत कराते हैं, हम भी हमारे बच्चों को संस्कार अवश्य देते हैं, लेकिन समझने वाली बात यह है कि कई बार हम संस्कार देते हैं, हम चाहते हैं कि तुरंत ही हम हमारे बच्चों में, उनके बिहेवियर में तुरंत ही बदलाव देखें। और जब नहीं देखते तो हमें लगता है कि हम इतनी मेहनत कर रहे हैं, लेकिन हमारा बच्चा तो कुछ और ही किए जा रहा है, उसकी तो समझ में कुछ आ ही नहीं रहा है। लेकिन हमें यहां पर हताश होने की बिल्कुल भी जरूरत नहीं है, क्योंकि ऐसा बिल्कुल हो सकता है जब हम संस्कार दे रहे हैं हमारे बच्चों को, तो कहीं ना कहीं सबकॉन्शियस माइंड में उनकी ये सारी बातें हमेशा ही रहती है, और जीवन के किसी न किसी मुकाम पर वो सारी बातें हमारे बच्चों के काम में आती है। वो हमारे बच्चे उन सारी बातों का प्रयोग अपने जीवन में आगे बढ़ने के लिए करते रहते हैं। राधा ने चिन्मय मिशन के बारे में बताते हुए हमसे ये कहा कि वहां पर जाकर भी बहुत सारे शास्त्रों को राधा ने सीखा, लेकिन ऐसा नहीं था कि शास्त्रों को सीखने के बाद तुरंत उन्होंने उसके ऊपर काम करना शुरू कर दिया था। उन्होंने भी बहुत सारी अलग अलग बातें की, लेकिन बाद में जाकर के वही शास्त्रों के ऊपर उन्होंने काम करना शुरू कर दिया। दोस्तों, मेरे साथ भी कुछ ऐसा ही हुआ है, जहां पर बचपन में मेरे माता पिता ने भी मुझे बहुत एक्सपोजर दिया इन सारी बातों को लेकर के। मुझे आज भी याद है, बचपन में मेरे माता पिता मुझे स्वाध्याय केंद्र में लेकर के जाते थे, जहां भगवत गीता के श्लोकों का पारायण होता था, श्लोकों का क्या अर्थ है ये बताया जाता था। तो उस वक्त तो मैं ये सारी बातें सुनता था। घर पर भी ऐसा ही माहौल था, जहां पर खाना खाने से पहले प्रार्थना करनी चाहिए, सोने से पहले प्रार्थना करनी चाहिए, नहाते वक्त श्लोक बोलने चाहिए। तो इसी तरह का माहौल, एक एनवायरनमेंट मेरे घर में भी बना हुआ था। लेकिन मैं भी अपने जीवन में ऐसे बहुत सारे वर्ष थे जहां शायद मैंने इन सारी बातों का बहुत ज्यादा पालन नहीं किया होगा। लेकिन आज जब मैं पढ़ाई करता हूं, और ये पढ़ाई करने की बात कहां से आई, मैंने अपने पिता को हमेशा ही देखा है, अपनी माता को हमेशा देखा है, किस तरह अपने ज्ञान को हमेशा ही ये बढ़ाते रहे, ज्ञान का आदर करते रहे। ठीक उसी तरह आज मुझे भी महसूस होता है कि मैं भी अपने अंदर की उस ज्ञान को बढ़ाऊं, और मैं भी आज रामायण हो, चाहे महाभारत हो, हमारे वेद हो, हमारे उपनिषद हो, इनका अध्ययन मैं आज करता हूं। और इस तरह ये जो ज्ञान प्राप्त करने की मेरी आज इच्छा है, ये भी मुझे अपने माता पिता से ही विरासत में मिली हुई है। और इसीलिए मैंने वैदिक एस्ट्रोलॉजी में मास्टर्स किया, और आगे चलकर वैदिक एस्ट्रोलॉजी में ही मैं पीएचडी भी करने वाला हूं, ठीक उसी तरह जिस तरह मेरे पिताजी ने हिंदी में पीएचडी किया था। और यही सही मायने में विरासत में मिला हुआ मेरे लिए धन है। इसके आगे हमने राधा से पूछा कि किस तरह उन्होंने चाणक्य के अर्थशास्त्र का अध्ययन किया, और जो कुछ भी प्रिंसिपल्स अर्थशास्त्र में दिए गए हैं, कैसे उन्होंने अपने जीवन में उनको अप्लाई किया। तो आइए सुनते हैं राधा ने क्या कहा। So how did what happened in Chinmay mission which took you closer to Chanakya and this interest in understanding everything about Acharya Chanakya?
So the reading habit was there, and I got introduced to Chanakya. Like most of us would read some book, maybe watch some serials, some videos. So in our generation, I think Amar Chitrakatha had an episode on Chanakya. And then there's a very famous serial by Dr. Chandraprakash Dwivedi, Chanakya, Rama and Mahabharata era. So, and all these were tips. That okay, there's another character called Chanakya. But what happened in the year 2000 specifically? I was working in a company where we actually were the first sports celebrity management company called Voltel.
Yes, Voltel.
And unfortunately, our founder Mark Mascarenhas died in a car accident, and the company had to wind up. And then I was looking out for another job, but my spiritual guru from Chennai Mission, Swami Tejamanandi, he told me, why are you looking out for a job? Think about creating jobs.
Wow.
मुझे तो कुछ आता नहीं था. He was not from a business family, had no idea about entrepreneurship. And unlike today, there was no startup culture then also.
Correct.
But thanks to my parents, जो करना है करो, अच्छा करो.
बिल्कुल सही. जो करना है करो, अच्छा करो. क्या बात है.
And then thanks to all the wisdom of the sages, I said, okay, I'm doing a business. I started with a spiritual tourism business then.
अच्छा.
And because I already had a management background in education, I said, अच्छा मैं इंडिया में business कर रहा हूँ. Why should I apply the Western principles?
Correct.
Nothing wrong. We should take the best from them also.
Correct.
But हमारे देश में when you start thinking, we are सोने की चिड़िया, with the richest part of the world, then I started thinking, what was that which made India the richest part of the world? Then I came across Chanakya and Arthashastra.
Okay.
Arthashastra, book of economics, and I was surprised that we had so much wealth, and there is a theory of that wealth. I had studied that in detail in Sanskrit. I went to Kerala, Dr. Gangadharan Nair, Swami Advayananji from Chennai Mission helped me. Okay. And when I came back, I applied all those principles of Chanakya in my own business.
Oh, that's very interesting. In fact, that's precisely, I also wanted to understand. Because, so many times people feel that they're old time kind of treaties and, possibly applicable then and, not applicable now. So how were you able to apply these principles in your life?
So I'll tell you, even if you look at any particular scripture, there are two parts to it. Certain things which are not relevant and certain things which are eternal, which we call the principles.
Correct.
So people ask me, how do you connect Chanakya to our generation? I say, part one, many things are not relevant. I mean, society gets updated and certain things get outdated also. Like for example, the economic model then was what is called exchange of coins called as panas.
Correct.
Because a coinage system was there, Chanakya started, but today it's a digital world. I don't have to give you a coin or even a check or a note.
Correct.
I just take your UPI number and it's gone. And it's a matter of microseconds. I would say those things about an exchange of trade. Today it's more a global trade. Today we are working at a very different level. So I don't think those parts are relevant. Yet, for example, principles of how to be a good leader.
Yes.
So today we are talking about collaborative leadership.
Correct.
It's not you versus me. It's about you and me.
And
if you look at this podcast, I'm benefiting. You are benefiting,
true,
and of course the audience is benefiting.
Very, very true.
So it's very important to know that Chanakya spoke about it, because we were living in a generation of competition, and today we are moving into collaboration.
Yes.
So we said, okay, those are principles. So I looked at a few of them. I applied in my own life and business, and super successful. So I said, oh, individually you may be great, but if you take the ancient wisdom, in fact, you will be surprised that your takeoff becomes at a very different level. So this is where the Chanakya thing happened, and I'm still working on it. It's been almost 23 years. Easy to count because 2000 was a turning point. Today is 2023.
23, yes, absolutely. दोस्तों, एक बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट बात हमने यहाँ सीखी. हमारे जितने शास्त्र हैं, जो हमारे रिलीजियस टेक्स्ट है, जैसे भगवत गीता है, बाइबल है, कुरान है, गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब है, इनमें बहुत सारी बातें लिखी हुई है. और जब हम इनका अभ्यास करते हैं तो कुछ ऐसी बातें हैं जो शायद आज के जमाने के लिए रेलेवेंट ना हो, क्योंकि सोसाइटी इवॉल्व होती है, समय बदलता है, तो कुछ एक बातें होती है जो शायद रेलेवेंट ना हो, लेकिन फिर भी ऐसी बहुत सारी बातें हैं जो कि आज भी उतनी ही रेलेवेंट है. जो प्रिंसिपल्स हैं ये इटर्नल है. क्योंकि हमारे ये जो रिलीजियस टेक्स्ट हैं, इसका पर्पस यही है कि हम जीवन में आगे बढ़ते रहें, हम प्रोग्रेसिव पाथ पर चलते रहें, ना कि हम रिग्रेसिव बने, ना कि हम फेनेटिक बन जाए, ना कि हम ऑर्थोडॉक्स बन जाए। और राधा यहां हमें यही सिखा रहे हैं कि देश, काल और पात्र को ध्यान में रखते हुए हम उन सिद्धांतों को हमारे रिलीजियस टेक्स्ट में पढ़ें, समझें और इसे अपने जीवन में अप्लाई करें। राधा ने भी इन प्रिंसिपल्स को अपने जीवन में अप्लाई किया और बहुत ही जबरदस्त सक्सेस अपने लिए उन्होंने पाई। और इन्हीं सिद्धांतों को ध्यान में रखते हुए राधा ने आगे लिखने का काम भी शुरू किया। तो किस तरह से राधा एक ऑथर बने, किस तरह इन्होंने किताबें लिखी, हमने उनसे यही सवाल पूछा था। तो आइए सुनते हैं राधा से ही कि उन्होंने किस तरह इस जर्नी की शुरुआत की।
So when did it come to your mind that now I want to write something and I want to become an author? When did that happen in life and how did that happen?
Imagine 22 books.
Yes, I remember, when we had met and I think which the book you had written alongside Sivananda sir. So he also was a co-author. Yes, I remember. I think there was third or
Second book, Chanakya, 7 Secrets of Leadership.
Yes, that was the second one, and today 22 you have completed. Amazing.
So I would say that it's all God's grace, and as I always say, it's my father's blessings to me. My parents always encourage me. I'll tell you this a day. I remember in a function, I spoke on Chanakya. I've been studying applying Chanakya, and 3 people walked out to me and said, "Oh, you speak well. Can you write on Chanakya?"
Acha.
I said, "Okay, but who are you?" He said, "We are Jaco Publishers."
Oh, acha.
I said, "Neki aur puch puch." See, a lot of people write books, they don't get publishers.
Yes.
And even if you get a good publisher, it's not guaranteed that the book will become a bestseller.
Correct.
In my case, it's reverse. So already there's a market for Chanakya. I understood being the marketing there.
Yes.
Okay, itna kuch hai. There were already books, but there's always a space for something new.
True.
Second thing is that we had the best publisher.
Yeah.
इनको बोल I know सामने से आ रहे.
Wow.
The first book came in Corporate Chanakya, still sells well after 13 years.
Yes.
I mean, today out of 22, all 22 are bestsellers. I mean, I worked with 7 publishers, but I'm very fortunate that I have worked with each publisher second and third time. In fact, Jaco 7 times.
Yes, absolutely.
So that means
I remember, purchasing or rather being gifted that first book of Corporate Chanakya. Shreya had gifted that book to me because she knew that I was very keen to learn more about Chanakya Niti and how to apply those principles and things like that. And she knew very well, so she gifted it to me. And then while reading, I had this in my mind: someday I would want to meet Dr. Radhakrishnan Pillai.
someday and every day.
Such a wonderful book that was. I still remember reading that. Every time I would fly, and then whenever I'm not doing anything else, I would just pick that book up and read. Amazing, amazing.
दोस्तों, एक बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग सवाल है, क्या हम अपॉर्चुनिटी को ढूंढने जाएं या अपॉर्चुनिटी हमें ढूंढे? ऐसा कहा गया है कि जब कोई एक शिष्य मैच्योर हो जाता है तो गुरु स्वयं उसे ढूंढ लेते हैं। मैच्योर होना यानी स्पिरिचुअली, इमोशनली, इंटेलेक्चुअली जब एक शिष्य मैच्योर हो जाता है तो गुरु स्वयं उसे ढूंढ लेते हैं। राधा के साथ भी कुछ ऐसा ही हुआ। राधा पैशनेटली अपना काम कर रहे थे और पब्लिशर ने स्वयं राधा को ढूंढ लिया। एक बहुत बड़ी सीख हमें मिलती है इस बात से कि हम जो कुछ भी काम कर रहे हैं, जो भी हमारे अंदर आर्ट है, हमारा स्किल है, जिसके लिए हम पैशनेट है, कई बार हम ढूंढते रहते हैं कि कहां अपॉर्चुनिटी है। लेकिन यहां जो हमने सीखा वो ये है कि यदि हम हमारी जो एबिलिटीज है उसे लेकर के पैशनेटली काम करते रहे तो अपॉर्चुनिटीज स्वयं हमें ढूंढ लेंगी, भाग्य स्वयं हमें ढूंढ लेगा और हमारे लिए आगे के दरवाजे बिल्कुल खुलते चले जाएंगे। तो दोस्तों, राधा ने 22 किताबें लिखी है। तो हमारे मन में ये प्रश्न उठ रहा था कि ये लिखना क्या बहुत आसान है या बहुत डिफिकल्ट है, या किस तरह से ये सोचते हैं कि चलो अब इस पर लिखना है। तो हमने राधा से यही पूछा। आइए सुनते हैं राधा ने क्या कहा।
How did this entire journey of this writing 22 books, every time, how do you, think, okay, this is what I want to write on this time, or this is what I want to think? How do you go about writing? Where do these thoughts come from?
For me, writing is like a time pass.
क्या
A
बात
lot
कर
of
रहे हो?
people think in 22 books you may be
हाँ,
a full-time writer. I say nobody has seen me writing.
true.
If you look at my office also, I'm working on a lot of things, no doubt about it. But writing is okay. It's like a download. So I've done my research, I've done my PhD. So I think the wisdom is there. And interestingly, all my books, okay, all 22 of them, and I'm writing 4 more simultaneously.
क्या बात कर रहे हो?
And all my books have been the ideas of the publisher.
All
So it's
right.
like you have a full collection. It's like the mother preparing food. सब spices है, raw material है. सामने बोलते डोसा चाहिए, okay?
चलो ले लो.
आपको क्या चाहिए? बोलते वड़ा चाहिए, okay? I have the butter ready. So I'll tell you something. Writing for me has not been difficult at all because a lot of people, first of all, don't know the process of writing.
Correct.
Second is, they don't know the process of how books do well.
Correct.
Fortunately, the first 2 books are perfected it. It was not easy first time because the first book took me 4.5 years to write.
Oh,
So you have to know the tricks of the trade, you're new in the game.
correct.
And thankfully the publishers helped me to understand. But I also had a sales and marketing background.
Correct.
So
Yes.
I believe that good products, if not marketed, is not good.
Yeah. True. True. So true.
So because the sales background said, ठीक है, book हो गया, अभी आगे गया, publisher हो गया, अभी तो बेचना चाहिए ना.
बिल्कुल.
So I went into what is called data analysis.
अच्छा.
No, what do you mean by bestseller?
Yeah.
किताब आने से कुछ नहीं होता. It's like, somebody is telling me yesterday, when you have a child, okay, giving birth to a child is only the first thing. It's a 20-year commitment. It's a project by itself.
So true.
तो लोगों को अच्छा बच्चे हो गए मतलब क्या यार? So I still tell to first time authors, it's a great feeling to have your first book in your hand. So it's like, even if you are a male, you are giving birth to a child.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a very emotional journey. You see your own product in your hand. So, but उसके बाद नहीं होता, and that's not enough. Giving birth, writing a book, publishing a book is one part of it.
Correct.
But you have to work to the next level. So what happened is that I used to spend a lot of time, effort to understand what is called customer centricity, customer usage, what do they want. I used to discuss a lot. So even today, if you look at my latest book, I'm doing 100 launches. Even at 22, I'm not saying that हो गया यार, कुछ नहीं. I work very hard. Fortunately, there's a great team. There's science also. But for those people who are interested, I've written a book also on that.
Yeah. There's a book on how to become an author.
How to
right?
write a book and make it a bestseller.
Correct. Correct.
So in my case, probably it's an exceptional God's grace, parents' blessings. But I want to give the secrets out, and I always believe everybody should write a book.
Oh.
The reason is that Chanakya is not here, but books are here.
Can everybody write? I mean, there's always this question that, maybe I know certain things, but can I write? I mean, like you are saying, everybody should write, but can everybody write?
I have this very simple question. Have you gone to school?
Yes.
You can write. So it doesn't matter. So remember one thing, writing generally starts with literacy to begin with.
Right.
So I think the country that we are in, most of the people are literate, they can read and write. But of course, writing a book is a different level.
Yeah, yeah.
No problem. What we require is some mentors who have done it, who can help you. So then you can walk, but that doesn't mean you have run the marathon.
Yeah.
But that's where you require a coach, as long as you are having the physical body and the will. So I'm saying writing. Now the question comes into details: what to write,
Correct.
what is the topic. Now all this are process.
Hmm.
But I always believe that if you have something that is a life experience, you have gone through it, why not write?
True.
You'll be surprised. I got a collection of 7,000 books,
Oh,
and and half of them actually are authors who have come and given it to me, and I support first-time authors. And topics like people used to be surprised. Look at the categories in a bookstore. We have fiction, non-fiction management. I got poetry. Okay, I got a book on photography.
right. Oh.
So this person may be a giant in his field,
Hmm.
but for me photography, okay. You'll be surprised. I got inspired by a book on photography and I learned photography.
Wow.
I got 3 books on social media. It's a new science.
Correct.
And I say, imagine if that person has not documented it. And the biggest problem is that number one, not knowing what to write, the process, that's one part of it. But more than that, the problem with the writers, first time writers, is there's a lack of self confidence. Like, मेरा book पढ़ेगा कौन?
हाँ बिल्कुल बिल्कुल
That's not a question. In fact, that's a wrong question. I'll give you one of my favorite books in my collection, a very strange book. It is about the, how the logistics works in the shipping industry. I mean that's for that particular industry. But I was surprised what a well written book. The author is not famous. It's not even a bestseller.
Okay.
But for me, it's a favorite book. Now think about it. Who can inspire you for what reason you don't know? But if you're not written, imagine I always said that particular person may be known or unknown in that world. But for me, it was a breakthrough. Now think about a subject. I'm not part of shipping industry, but logistics and shipping industry.
Yeah.
And then I keep doing a Chanakya connection there.
Is it?
Yeah, see, this is how a book can inspire. You'll be surprised the biggest things in the world that you get in your home is actually shipped. That's the world.
Right, yeah, it is.
We shipped it. So, now, of course, the airline industry, the cargoes go by plane also.
Right.
But that's still a very elitistic kind of, you are urgent, you require to fly. But India ruled the world because of shipping industry. The maritime, and if you look at the navigation that we had, it all connected to shipping industry. Correct. And we had the best naval systems in the world. So when you look at the Britishers, the Dutch, the French coming to India, you'll be surprised. They actually navigated through the shipping industry. And in the Arthashastra, there's a chapter called Nava Adhyaksha. The Department of Shipping.
Whoa.
Now you see the connection? A book which is not connected to my subject gets connected to my subject.
Wow.
And therefore I said, okay, write a book, doesn't matter what your topic is. But you'll be surprised, if you don't write, that's the problem. So please write a book.
Brilliant. I think we are taking a lot of inspiration today from you, Radha.
दोस्तों, हम सभी में कोई ना कोई टैलेंट, कोई ना कोई हुनर जरूर होता है. हो सकता है सिंगिंग का टैलेंट हो सकता है कुकिंग का टैलेंट हो सकता है स्टिचिंग का कोई टैलेंट हो, कोई ना कोई टैलेंट हम सब में जरूर होता है. लेकिन फिर ऐसा क्यों कि सिर्फ चंद लोग ही अपने टैलेंट को पहचान कर आगे उसमें बढ़ पाते हैं और बहुत सारे लोग हैं जो अपने टैलेंट के साथ आगे नहीं बढ़ते? इसका जवाब हमें राधा से मिला. राधा ने यही कहा कि बहुत सारे लोग हुनर होने के बावजूद ये सोचने लगते हैं कि मेरे इस टैलेंट से क्या होगा, मैं सिंगर हूं लेकिन मेरा गाना सुनेगा कौन, मुझे राइटिंग का शौक जरूर है, मैं किताब लिखना चाहता हूं लेकिन मेरी किताब पढ़ेगा कौन, मैं एक अच्छा कुक बन सकता हूं लेकिन मैं यदि खाना बनाता हूं तो ये खरीदेगा कौन. बस यही सारे सवाल जो है जो एक सेल्फ लिमिटिंग फैक्टर बन जाते हैं और इसीलिए काम की शुरुआत ही नहीं हो पाती. राधा कहते हैं कि यदि आप में कोई टैलेंट है तो आप बिना ये सोचे कि आगे क्या होगा, शुरुआत कीजिए. एक्शन लेना बहुत आवश्यक है. आउटकम्स के बारे में बहुत ज्यादा ना सोचें क्योंकि ये आउटकम्स ही हमारे ऑब्स्टिकल बन जाते हैं और हमारे इस टैलेंट को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए हम कोई एक सब्जेक्ट मैटर एक्सपर्ट को ढूंढें, हमारा कोच, हमारे मेंटर जो भी है उसे ढूंढें और उनके साथ रहकर आगे बढ़ने का जो एक रास्ता है उसे ढूंढें. और हां, यदि आप में से जो हमारे दर्शक हैं लिखना चाहते हैं, किताब लिखना चाहते हैं और आप नहीं समझ पा रहे कि किस तरह से किताब लिखी जाए, तो हमारे कमेंट सेक्शन में आप जरूर आपके कमेंट लिखें. हमारे डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में ईमेल आईडी है, हमें वहां लिख करके भेजें और हम अवश्य ये प्रयत्न करेंगे कि किस तरह राधा की मदद ली जाए और आपके इस टैलेंट को आगे बढ़ाया जाए. राधा ने तो इस पर एक किताब भी लिखी है, हाउ टू राइट अ बुक एंड बिकम अ बेस्ट सेलर. और आगे हमने राधा से पूछा कि चाणक्य की वो कौन से प्रिंसिपल्स थे जिनको राधा ने अपने जीवन में अप्लाई किया. तो आइए सुनते हैं राधा ने क्या कहा.
Brilliant, absolutely. So Radha, when we talk about this your learning from the life of Acharya Chanakya, from the principles of Acharya Chanakya, what are those most important things which you think people should really know, people should really learn and imbibe in their lives?
So two things.
Yeah.
One is leadership and finance.
All right.
Chanakya focus on these two.
Correct.
So a lot of people say Arthashastra.
Right.
Arthashastra generally is known as a book of economics.
Correct.
But economics is not something only for the government. It hits us every single day. It's a reality of life.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you have to be money minded, but you have to be money conscious.
All right.
Money is such an integral part of society. And you will be surprised you can help with money and you can also have greed for money.
True. True. Yes.
So what is important is that Chanakya wrote Arthashastra based on dharma, ethical money.
Yeah.
This is one takeaway that I think everybody should actually respect money. Otherwise, there are generally a feeling if somebody is rich, is unethical.
Ah,
And I don't like this word called filthy rich. Why should a rich person be filthy?
filthy. Yeah.
No, I have seen so many, I would say, rich businessmen, wealthy people. They actually are the biggest contributors to society.
Hmm.
India respected wealth creators. And
Yes.
wealth created need not be a corporate alone. It could be a small lady actually, making a small textile garment with sui dhaga.
Correct.
That's also part of wealth creation.
Absolutely right.
It could be you making a podcast. It's also wealth creation, knowledge creation.
Yes.
So Chanakya focused on wealth creation, and Chanakya's model made India the richest country in the world. So I would say, why not bring back that golden era once again in our lifetime? So each one of us should be good, not only in finance management, but wealth creation.
Yes.
So I understood you have to work hard. See, I mean, you can take breaks, but life is not about only relaxing. Life is a commitment for what I would say excellence in your work, in your field.
True.
The second one, which is leadership.
Correct.
I think why can't everybody think like a leader? Last 2-3 generations we've been thinking as followers. Get a job,
True. True.
okay, boss jo bolenge. In fact, I've seen a lot of directors of companies. Imagine a director, they got 5,000 people under them. But instead of having that position of leadership, they think like a follower.
Is it?
So I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
I was with some director and saying, ये project करना है. You know what he told me? Great project. We have budgets for it.
Yeah.
Okay. I need an approval.
Oh.
I said, you are a leader. And then there's one thing, he has to take an approval from his chairman. So nothing wrong. So a lot of people are in leadership position, but they're thinking like followers.
Yes.
And a generation that's going to come up now, our next generation, what I generally call millennials, they have no idea about followership. They just take decisions. Of course, they will be working somewhere, but today the startup culture is exactly about leadership in that particular field.
Yeah.
So if you're in the sports field, arts field, any field, scientific field,
Right.
corporate world, political world, or even for that matter, anything that you do, think like a leader. And Chanakya taught us that. So for me, two takeaways: leadership and economics.
Wow. Wow. I think this changes the entire mindset, the way you look at life. So very true. Rather than being a follower, think like leader. And I think not only in the corporate world, every sphere of life, it's all about the mindset.
Yes.
Beautiful. Now, one more thing, that since we are talking about Acharya Chanakya, there's a lot of, different people have different perception, how they look at the way Acharya Chanakya used to deal with different situations, right? And especially, I remember talking to some women and they said that, there was this kind of biases, what they felt about the way Chanakya used to deal. So what are your thoughts about that, Radha?
दोस्तों, ये आचार्य चाणक्य के सिखाए हुए दो बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण सिद्धांत हैं, फाइनेंस और लीडरशिप। फाइनेंस की बात करें, इकोनॉमिक्स की बात करें तो हमेशा हमें यही लगता है कि इकोनॉमी यानी एक एक देश के लेवल पर ही ये होता है, लेकिन ये धारणा ठीक नहीं है। इकोनॉमी हर फैमिली के लेवल पर भी देखी जानी चाहिए। मनी कॉन्शियस होना ये बहुत आवश्यक है। जैसे राधा ने कहा कि मनी माइंडेड नहीं बल्कि मनी कॉन्शियस होना बहुत ही जरूरी है हम सब के लिए। दूसरी बात, वेल्थ क्रिएशन के बारे में भी सोचना हम सब के लिए बहुत आवश्यक है, चाहे वो कोई छोटे से लेवल पर क्यों ना हो। वेल्थ क्रिएशन का अर्थ ये नहीं है कि हम बस कल उठकर एक बहुत बड़ी इंडस्ट्री खोलें तभी मनी क्रिएशन होगा या वेल्थ क्रिएशन होगा। नहीं, हमारे लेवल पे छोटी छोटी बातें करके भी हम वेल्थ क्रिएशन कर सकते हैं और देश की इकोनॉमी में कंट्रीब्यूशन दे सकते हैं। इसके साथ साथ हमारा अपना जीवन भी हम बहुत अच्छी तरह से चला सकते हैं यदि हम मनी कॉन्शियस हुए। दूसरी बात, लीडरशिप। अब यहां राधा ने यही कहा कि ये एक माइंडसेट है। देखिए, लीडरशिप एक बिहेवियर है। लीडरशिप का डेजिग्नेशन के साथ कोई लेना देना नहीं है। कोई ऐसा नहीं है कि किसी कंपनी का सीईओ होगा, एमडी होगा, वाइस प्रेसिडेंट होगा, वही लीडर होता है। नहीं, लीडर कोई भी हो सकता है, क्योंकि ये एक बिहेवियर है। और ये बिहेवियर कैसा है? फॉलोअर का एक बिहेवियर अलग होता है और एक लीडर का बिहेवियर अलग होता है। एक लीडर वो होता है जो डिसीजन ले सकता है। तो हमें किस तरह का माइंडसेट यहां पर रखना चाहिए, यह भी आचार्य चाणक्य ने हमें सिखाया। दोस्तों, जब भी आचार्य चाणक्य के बारे में बात निकलती है तो कई सारे लोगों के मन में एक अलग धारणा है आचार्य चाणक्य को लेकर, और वो ये है कि उनका जो एक रवैया था स्त्रियों को लेकर के, विमेन की तरफ, ये कुछ अलग सा रवैया था। वो ज्यादा फेवर नहीं करते थे विमेन को। इस तरह की बातें लोगों के मन में है। तो हम राधा से यही समझना चाह रहे थे कि क्या हकीकत है। राधा के विचार हम इस पर जानना चाहते थे। अब राधा के क्या विचार हैं, ये हम देखेंगे इस कहानी के दूसरे भाग में। तो बने रहिए हमारे साथ डॉक्टर राधाकृष्णन पिल्लई यानी राधा की कहानी का पार्ट 2 देखने के लिए। दोस्तों, आज का हमारा ये वीडियो यदि आपको पसंद आया है तो लाइक करना बिल्कुल ना भूलें। कमेंट सेक्शन में आपके कमेंट लिखिए, इससे हमें बहुत प्रोत्साहन मिलता है। हमारे इस चैनल को यदि अभी तक आपने सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया है तो तुरंत सब्सक्राइब कीजिए, बेल आइकन पर क्लिक कीजिए ताकि हमारे नए वीडियोस आप तक तुरंत पहुंच जाए। और हमारे डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में हमने आपके लिए एक फूड फॉर थॉट लिखा हुआ है। डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में जाइए, उसे पढ़िए और आपकी प्रतिक्रिया कमेंट सेक्शन में हमें दीजिए। तो हम बहुत जल्द आपसे फिर मिलेंगे राधा की कहानी का पार्ट 2 लेकर के। तब तक के लिए प्लीज टेक गुड केयर ऑफ योरसेल्फ। और हां, राधा की किताब खरीदिए और उसे पढ़िए। नमस्कार।